Cyber attack the world has ever seen, but cybersecurity experts warn what's happened so far is nothing compared to what might be coming. That might be unstoppable, they're saying. The ransomware attack, which ravaged Europe and brought the British health system to its knees on Friday, rolled into Asia this morning. Employees found their files have been encrypted, no longer readable, with hackers demanding some $300 in ransom to decode them. The hackers threatened to destroy the files if owners balked at paying that ransom. Today, the Trump White House had this update about the chances of an attack here.
Overall, the U.S. infection rate has been lower than many parts of the world, but we may still see significant impacts in additional networks as these malware attacks morph and change. While it would be satisfying to hold accountable those responsible for this hack, something that we are working on quite seriously, the worm is in the wild, so to speak, at this point, and patching is the most important message. Business and government have responded with upgrades and patches, defensive mitigations, and this has dramatically reduced the vulnerable population over the last 3 days.
So what's next? Dr. Daniel Gerstein was Deputy Undersecretary for Science and Technology in the Department of Homeland Security. He currently works at the nonprofit, nonpartisan RAND Corporation, and he's a professor at American University School of International Service. The worm is in the wild. What does that mean?
The worm is in the wild.
That's what he said.
Well, you know, it's actually not a worm. It's actually malware. But I think when they talk the worm, they're thinking about a worm attack.
Right. How serious is this? I mean, you think about the countries, 150 countries, a lot of devices, you know, a lot of information, a lot of files held ransom. It seems incredibly serious and frightening. Is it?
I think it is. I think this is a wake-up call. We've been given plenty of opportunities to take very careful stock of our hardware and software and our preparedness for a cyber attack. And frankly, it is something that we have demonstrated time and again that we have difficulties with. Okay, so
they attacked Microsoft, right?
They attacked Microsoft XP. Now, XP is a software that goes back to 2001.
Yep.
It was not even being updated any longer by Microsoft as of 2014. So the long and the short is that if you were running an XP machine, you were not getting any more security patches, and therefore you could not be up to date on your security software.
Okay, so all of this stuff was vulnerable. That's what we're talking about, and that's why it hit the countries that it did, and you didn't see the kind of impact here.
No, not exactly. It's very interesting. What happened with this is that it disproportionately affected business machines. So if you go to Brazil, it hit their oil and natural gas, Petrobras. If you went to Germany and Spain, their train systems were impacted. If you went to Asia, they also had their transportation network hacked. Here in the United States, FedEx was exposed. And what this tells us is that these were largely older hardware and software. They were running XP. It had not been updated, even though a patch had been available since March. It was a known insecurity, and they had not taken action to patch it.
Yeah, bottom line, it sounds like it was avoidable. It's something you could have done to protect yourself.
Well, it's avoidable and it's frightening because it's actually critical national infrastructure. That's what we always talk about protecting in Homeland Security. Those are the transportation grids and our healthcare systems. And of course, if you're not taking care of those, then you are in great vulnerability.
Should this not be a warning to all of us, you know, even us little people with all these devices, when you get that notice, you know, from Microsoft, you know, from Apple, wherever, that you got, you know, software to update, you should download it, update it immediately, right?
That's correct. I mean, when you're given a patch, that means somebody has found something, either a functionality issue or a security issue. But there's even a more frightening aspect to this, and that is that we are on the cusp of things like autonomous vehicles that will rely on the internet in the way that people will get around in the future. We're also talking about the Internet of Things, everything from your refrigerator all the way
Go back to the vehicles. Are you suggesting somebody might hack software in my vehicle, may take control of my self-driving vehicle? Is that what you're suggesting?
Absolutely. In fact, there was a demonstration about 1.5 years ago where there was a vehicle hacked. It was demonstrated that it could be done. Now, that particular hack took some time to engineer, but it does demonstrate that we are very vulnerable. And the more that our daily lives become intertwined with the internet and the Internet of Things, the more vulnerable we will be.
Who could be doing this?
So there's a long time left to go in the forensics and attribution. We're only 72 hours into this malware attack, this ransomware attack. But what I can say about it is it does not look like it's a state attack. It also does not look like it was perpetrated by a kid. On the other hand, it looks like it may be a novice ransomware. And I say that because there were some anomalies about the way they requested payment and about the way they went about their perpetration of the attack.
Maybe it's somebody who didn't really need the money.
Well, I don't know.
I say that, you know, somewhat cynical because somebody is suggesting out there in published reports that it might be North Korea behind this.
Well, I've heard that, but right now it's hard to tell, and I think we do have to let the forensics take it to its logical conclusion. One thing is for sure, there has been about $70,000 collected so far. It is unlikely that somebody's going to realize $70,000 because as soon as they go to collect it on the Bitcoin, they would be likely identified and brought to justice.
Yeah, incredible information. Thanks a lot. Scary, too. Coming up next,